week 3 already in October, right around the corner. What is going on? But, we Forge on here just submitted the articles last night for Cash and GPP with specific player selections. And again, this video is all about the top-down process that caused me to pick the players that I did. So, obviously, top spot of the week, Cowboys at Seahawks. We got Let Russ Cook going for MVP. Never received an MVP vote. What is going on? And you've got Dak Prescott on the other side, who is third in passing yards per game, but just hasn't thrown any touchdowns to any of his wide receivers yet. He got 3 rushing on his own last week. So obviously we know that's going to change, and probably going to change in a big way this week after what we just saw Cam Newton. Boy, did Cam look good. Go off on the Seahawks last week. So obviously a number of different ways that you can make lineups, you can make stacks, you can make game stacks in that one. By far the best game of the week. However, the Lions at Cardinals is very fascinating too. We talked about how Washington at Arizona was very fascinating last week. Now if Kenny Golladay does come in and play, fantastic tournament play there in a game where again the Lions should continue to have to throw. That increases Matt Stafford's upside. And actually if you look at what Marvin Jones did with Golladay last year, Marvin Jones might actually be better when he's got Golladay, taking some coverage on the other side. And we know Arizona's incredible. We saw what Aaron Jones did last week against this Lions defense. We know the Lions secondary is terrible. So plenty of ways that we can make game stacks in this one as well. Bears at Falcons is interesting. We know that Matt Ryan is going to continue to ball out. And then the Bears get this Falcons defense. And David Montgomery looked good last week. This is a great spot for Allen Robinson to get right. So there's some interesting options there. We're going to take some stands this week, so I'm not going to go super deep, but other teams that are in good spots, obviously the Colts are, they're at home against the Jets. Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Taylor, ton of work last week. No Marlon Mack. The Chargers in a fantastic spot. Also at home, I believe. Yes, at home against the Panthers, who I continue to say one of the worst defenses in football. We saw Herbert come out and ball out, almost beat Patrick Mahomes. That increases the upside of everybody in this offense, pass catchers, and then, of course, Austin Eckler, who has averaged 20 opportunities per game so far, and Josh Kelly, who's averaged 19. We know what this team wants to do, and it meshes well with being able to attack the Panthers' run defense. I got too much on Ronald Jones and actually should have thought more last week about how Leonard Fournette made sense too, just in case he did run away with the job, and that's perhaps exactly what we just saw happen. The Steelers at home as well against the Texans. Another defense that we want to continue to attack. James Conner looked great. Big Ben has looked great, 270 yards per game through 2 weeks. Deontay Johnson, 23 targets. Juju Smith-Schuster, 14 targets. A lot of good options there to stack. And I'm not giving up on the Eagles just yet. Obviously, Miles Sanders is almost a lock button play here at home against the Bengals. It can be a get-right spot for Carson Wentz to a certain extent, especially with Jalen Reagor out. That puts Deshaun Jackson, Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert squarely on the radar as well. We'll finish it up with 2. The Patriots at home against the Raiders. Obviously, just talked earlier about how good Cam looked. He's absolutely in play. Few of his weapons are, contrarian in play, but mostly, you can just play Cam naked, of course. And then the Browns at home against Washington. Browns had a tough matchup in week 1 against Baltimore, and then they really were able to do whatever they wanted, especially on the ground, right, against the Bengals in week 2. So this could be an interesting middle ground spot for this offense where players like Jarvis Landry, but mainly Austin Hooper, who's only seen 6 targets through 2 games, actually gets the volume that is probably coming to him regardless, especially with David Njoku out again. So just a very contrarian tournament option there that no one will be thinking of, but a good matchup against Washington. And, we know the type of player Hooper is, and we know this offense does want to utilize the tight ends. Again, the type of game and game flow could end up working balanced in between what we saw in game 1 where they just couldn't get anything going, and week 2 where they got everything going, but a lot of it was on the ground. If you correlate that together, it's kind of a unique game. Maybe somebody like Austin Hooper's a tournament play, why he's in my GPP article. Appreciate it, guys. Let's get this money. Happy week 3.